Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Kansas in both the Xfinity Series and the Monster Energy Cup Series. And in the Xfinity Series we had a subscriber and longtime member of the community, K17, in the cars. He started in about 14th to 16th, somewhere in that area, as he actually had a pretty fast car here today. We've had, I think, 2 top 10s in a row in the Xfinity Series, and K17 continued actually to move his way forward. Sure enough, there passing Noah Gragson a little bit later on in this race, as he was up in P3 at this point here in Kansas, as he did drop a little bit though down the orders. Came through on the final lap at this point through turns 3 and turns 4. He lost positions to the 20, the 00. Jeffrey Earnhardt as well there, as he got cleared by him out of turns 4 as he came through to cross the line though. So a very solid finish, another top 10 for our team here in Kansas, as K17 got his P7 here at the mile and a half. So it comes through now to qualifying for the Cup Series here in Kansas, where we would cross the line with a 30.882, and we go P11 here for Kansas. So hopefully we'll have a good chance to maybe run up front here today at the mile and a half. And on the pole we got Kurt Busch.
NASCAR returns to the heartland, Kansas, for the Hollywood Casino 400. We're halfway through this year's playoff season, and after today, the playoff field will be cut from 12 to 8. Let's head down to the track as the action is just about ready to get underway.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here at the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. Corey LaJoie is having a stellar weekend with a little bit of speed, as Eric Almirola, trying to make it into that round of 8, has failed optical scanning station, so he is starting at the back of the field along with Bubba Wallace, who had an engine change after qualifying. So a bit of a shake-up there for Almirola, who's trying to point his way in. He comes into this race 1 point out. He is sent to the back for the start of this race. Now as the green flag is out, and the elimination race for the round of 12 is underway. 8 drivers will remain at the end of this race that will have a chance to fight for a spot in the final 4. Chase Elliott won in the first race at Dover. We won the last race at Talladega. So myself and Elliott, we are locked in and ready to set our focus on that round of 8 already. Now as the exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway for this first and opening lap at Kansas Speedway. As we make this dive down into turn 3, Alex Bowman just behind us. He is on the outside looking in, and then the rest of our teammates are on the outside looking in. Harvick, Almirola, Clint Boyer, our other 3 Stewart-Haas Racing teammates are all right now 10th, 11th, and 12th in the points. So very unfortunate for them. Hopefully at least one of them can make it through into the final 8. I was hoping that all 4 of our drivers would be in that round of 8, but it looks like at this point it's only going to be ourselves here in the 41 car leading the Stewart-Haas Racing camp. But we continued running this high lane, and sure enough, we would be now running up in P10, trying to pass Eric Jones, as we were 3 wide up the middle with Jones and the 88 of Alex Bowman. Jones recently eliminated from the playoffs in the last round. There's actually briefly got into the left rear of Jones, but thankfully did not affect him. Now as Kurt Busch was leading the way through turns 1 and turns 2 on lap 6 of 19 in the stage, pushing up the track, but Jones has that momentum to stay ahead of me. We would actually get passed by Martin Truex Jr., who would run us down as we continue to run behind Eric Jones, as I had this issue with the same driver last time at Kansas, where I struggled to pass Eric Jones, and sure enough we come through now on lap 14 on the out of turns 4. We actually got into the outside wall, and now there was no chance we were going to pass Eric Jones because our momentum got completely destroyed, allowing Chase Elliott to run us down. And now at this point the tire icon had come on, the field was running low, and I had to actually run half throttle to make sure we didn't wear the tires out too much now as we came down this front straightaway, getting passed by the 9 of Chase Elliott here. Now as we came through approaching the final lap of the stage, we actually had a couple cars come into the pit lane. Sorry, 2 laps ago on the stage, I should mention. Then we came through to start the final lap as Elliott had driven away, but with those cars pitting, we were up to P10, only 3% on the right rear, and that's exactly why I was going half throttle at the most through the center of the corner. But then the caution comes out and absolutely saves us, and thankfully we hang on to 1 stage point here. Alex Bowman gets 8 points, but Keselowski gets 7. Keselowski holds the last spot in, so Bowman, I believe, was about 12 or so points out, 13 somewhere in there at the end of this first stage. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel though and 4 tires and get ready to go green. Eric Almirola did not get stage points, so now he's in trouble, and same for the rest of our teammates of Harvick and Clint Boyer. Now as the second stage is underway, just behind the 9 of Chase Elliott, the only other winner other than ourselves in this round of 12. As we head down towards turns 1, Kyle Busch running up front. He has certainly been slowing down quite a bit recently here in the career mode. Obviously he won, what, 10 races or so in the regular season, 9 or 10 races, and then he's only won 1 race, I believe, in like the last 10 or so races. So very unfortunate for Kyle Busch how he slowed down. I guess it's fortunate for us though now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4 at the back of Brad Keselowski as we get to the inside of him on the exit of turns 4. Bowman up front now making a pass for the lead. If Bowman wins this race, obviously he doesn't have to worry about points. There's we get to the left rear of Keselowski. There's we were 3 wide up the middle between him and Chase Elliott. Don't want to mess with Keselowski. He is the last car in the round of 8 right now, so we definitely don't want to mess up his playoff chances as we go down that back straightaway. We would eventually though clear Chase Elliott on lap 3 of 18 here in the second stage and take over the 6th position, and then we would actually lose that position to Martin Truex Jr., who had actually run me down a little bit later on lap 6, and he would drive right on by me as we came through turns 3 and at turns 4. But there behind us you saw Eric Jones, who had now got past Chase Elliott in the 9 there as we continued to at least try and fight back on the outside of Martin Truex Jr., but the car just didn't quite have the speed that I was hoping on the kind of medium run. The short run, it was pretty good. The long run, it was pretty good. Just the medium run. The middle portion of the run, it certainly struggled just a tiny bit now as it came through on lap 10 of 18. There's smoke up ahead, and it's the 42 of Kyle Larson, who brings out a caution here in stage 2. Larson's rough season has gotten even rougher here with a now engine or tire issue in stage 2. We would pay for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires and get ready to go back green. Now, as I should mention, I was actually running a bit of a different setup for this race, thanks to help from one of the community members of Colby, who helped me out with that now, and it certainly seems to be doing the trick here today. Now, as the green flag is back out, you can see some mixed strategies there as we get the restart glitch, unfortunately, because you saw once that caution came out, we ran into the back, I think, of the Martin Truex Jr. It was, so we get the restart glitch, and we're kind of no stranger to that now. I was expecting it, and that's why I pulled over to the left once I noticed it was happening, so I got out of the way. And unfortunately, that completely destroys our restart. Now we are set back quite a bit, and that shows you how quickly things can change in a NASCAR heat game. We were running up inside the top 10. Now here we are running P20 as we had gone to the inside, making some moves, 3 wide, 4 wide now as the cars were all over the place with a mix of the slower cars in front, and that always makes restarts like this extremely wild. We came through now on lap 15, getting up to that outside lane where I'm much more am comfortable with now as we came through turns 1 and turns 2. Almirola trying to make some moves as we get to the back of the 52 of Cody Ware, giving him a shove as we exit turn 2. 3 wide in front of us now as we get into the right rear of Paul Menard, and now we make contact. He crowns us up towards the walls, nearly spinning him somehow. We keep it straight and get back going on our way as we would get past the 21 of Menard after that whole mess right there and be able to work our way back through this field now on lap 16, going right around the outside of these guys as we would get up inside P11 or so, but we would actually get into the wall. I should mention, I forgot to show that, but I got in the wall and ended up losing a spot to Truex and I think Kyle Busch as well in the process, but we came through now on the final lap of the stage. Eric Jones was leading the way as there wasn't really any competition for him. Now as we exit turn 2, now going 3 wide again with the 31 of Reddick and the 37 of Chris Buescher. Now as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time, Truex, he drops down to the bottom. We're kind of in that middle now to the top lane, closing in on the back of Michael McDowell back in P11 as we exit turns 4, but we had the run on the exit of the corner. We're going to get to the inside of McDowell and get him at the line for P10 here in the second stage, somehow getting stage points out of it now as the stage winner was Eric Jones. Boyer in P2. Boyer is likely going to have to win to get in. Keselowski didn't get stage points, which was a huge opportunity for a driver like Alex Bowman, Almirola, or Harvick. None of them got stage points either, so now they're really behind. Now is Bowman still about 13 out or so. Almirola's around the same. Harvick is, well, also kind of in that same area, I think. Now as we start this third, though, and final stage in Kansas Speedway, who will be the final 8 drivers that are going to have a chance to compete for a Final 4 spot, we're going to find out within the next 25 laps as we go down into turns 1 on the inside of the 47 of Ryan Preece. Certainly could have had a chance to get payback on Preece right there if I wanted to, but I didn't really feel like making enemies at this point in the playoffs as we go down this back straight away behind the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as we go down into turn 3. You see Daniel Hemrick up there in the mix. Jones, he goes all the way to the top. It's 3 wide in front of us for the lead as we're 3 wide with the JGR duo here of Truex and Kyle Busch. Truex, he backed out of it as Jones leads the first lap as we're on the inside of the 18 of Kyle Busch. Certainly, I think we're going to be his biggest contender this playoffs right now as we go down into turns 1. Kyle Busch is easily going to make it to that Final 4. We know that for sure. So hopefully we can make it as well now as we exit turn 2. A huge opportunity here if we can somehow win this race and get 5 extra playoff points. This is the last chance we get to really make the playoff points matter. Now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4, Eric Jones all the way to the top. Clint Boyer, he was on the bottom trying to contend for the lead here as we have a great run on the exit of the corner 3 wide with Hemrick and Kyle Busch at the line. 23 laps to go here in Kansas, but I had struggled to be able to get past anyone after this now as we came through on lap 46. The caution had actually come out with 22 laps to go. That was Kyle Busch was leading at this point as we had barely taken P4 away from Eric Jones. No one was coming to the pit lane at this point except Kurt Busch, who may have brought out the caution. That could be a playoff implication, but I'm not sure if that will affect Kurt Busch too much because he is still in this race. So it's not a huge concern for Kurt Busch as once again we are back underway here at the mile-and-a-half in Kansas now. Just 18 laps to go. Kyle Busch, Hamlin on the front row. Hamlin with a fairly poor restart as Bowyer knows the situation right now. Clint Bowyer has to win to get into the next round, and he is running in a position where he has the potential to maybe steal win as we do not have the greatest first half lap of this restart. Truex gets to the inside now as we go down into turns 3. Kyle Busch holding on over Bowyer and Hamlin, who battle side by side through the center of turns 3 and on the exit now of turns 4. Eric Jones ready to pounce there in P4. An early exit in the playoffs for Eric Jones, kind of an unexpected exit to the playoffs for Eric Jones now as he's just trying to get whatever wins he can as we go down into the corner now on lap 51 as we came through on lap 54. Still running in about a similar position, but Bowyer, he had dropped back behind us. It was now Hamlin who had taken the lead from Kyle Busch as we came through on lap 55. Bowman had gotten to our inside, and so did Keselowski as we just started to fall off a little bit, like I said, kind of in that middle portion of the run. The car just lacked a tiny bit of speed that I needed now as we came through to cross the line running P12 here, but the car was running so much better than what it usually does here in Kansas, which was certainly a confidence booster as we came through on lap 57. Still running about P6. Bowman in the mix now as there's actually a spinner behind us at 48 of Jimmy Johnson, and he's going to collect our teammate Kevin Harvick. A little bit of damage done to his right side. This forces a caution and a pit stop where we would lose 6 positions. We weren't the only ones. We had a bunch of cars that were slower stay out now with less than 10 laps to go with a restart to decide the round of 8 here in Kansas Speedway. Bowman just in front of us there. You see the 20 of Eric Jones in the mix. Kyle Busch, who was battling for the lead with Denny Hamlin, now has been set back quite a bit. So this could be a big setback for many drivers. Bowman had a lot of speed and he was starting to close in towards that front group of cars. And unfortunately, this caution might be the one thing that takes Alex Bowman's chances at the round of 8 completely away because Brad Keselowski, his biggest contender, the final car in the round of 8 currently, is up ahead there. As you can see, I'm up by the wall through turns 3 and turns 4 as we get to the outside of Alex Bowman. Certainly feeling bad for Bowman at this point in the race now as we come through flying past these slower cars now back up inside the top 10. I think this has been all around our best Kansas performance we've ever had now as we came through on lap 63, making it 3 wide with Keselowski and Bowyer. Bowyer still has to win, obviously, with 4 laps to go, and Kurt Busch, though, was driving away at this point. Kurt Busch brought out a caution earlier in the stage, and here he is leading in the final laps of this race. Can he hold Denny Hamlin off here in the final few laps now as we get to the back of Clint Bowyer, trying to push him at this point, but as we came through on lap 66, approaching the white flag, now running P6 as Bowyer had fallen back. Keselowski still in the mix as he's now got Alex Bowman just right here as we cross the line to my left side, but now if Keselowski brings it home in this position, he will be the last car in the round of 8, and Bowman will not make it. Neither will our teammates as Kurt Busch leads through the exit of turns 2 as we come through down this back straightaway for the final time. Bowman slides up in front of the 2. We give him a shot to the bumper as we go down this back straightaway. Truex on my left rear as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in Kansas. Kurt Busch has had a very solid season, and he's going to continue it today with a victory in Kansas as now we come through to cross the line just in front of Truex. Bowman, Keselowski side by side at the line as we get P6 here in Kansas Speedway. Kurt Busch with the victory. It's Kurt and Kyle Busch 1-2. We've seen that quite a few times actually in our career mode already now. So a very solid finish for us. I think that might be our best finish at Kansas ever. So very happy with that. In any NASCAR heat game, I should mention. There as you see the playoff grid. Alex Bowman, Almirola, Harvick, Bowyer all get eliminated. So obviously you've got to stick around for another moment. You'll see the brand new updated playoff grid going into the round of 8. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. And now, like I said, we're going to see the updated playoff grid here going into the round of 8. We're probably, I was thinking probably around 10 to 15 points to the good. Similar to maybe this round because obviously we picked up an extra 5 playoff points with the win in Talladega. We're 14 points to the good. And then Kyle Busch is 62. So it's going to get close. You can see that Elliott 8th is the last, and he's only 10 points up. So it's going to get very interesting to see what happens. So thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I'll see you guys in the next one for Martinsville. Have a great day, everybody.